So in this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how I sign on $5,000 per month personal branding clients for my personal branding agency. Now, before I get started, I just want to tell you that this is by far the most unsaturated and most profitable business model, the agency business model in 2024. And if you want to get a bit more info about this, I just made a video earlier on. It was my first video, which did super well. And since that video did very well and I got my Instagram flooded with a ton of comments, questions about this business model and how the operations go about it, I decided to make this video. So without further ado, I'm going to give you everything. And I'm going to be explaining a lot more in detail so that you guys can get familiar with this. And you know, if you're not running an agency, if you're running an agency and it's not very profitable, or you've thought of starting an agency, you don't want to miss this train. I guarantee you there's no one on the internet doing this type of business model, and it's the most needed right now. Now, before we begin, I just want to go over, who even am I? You probably haven't seen videos of me before. My name is Kareem Mansour, and in March of 2021, I landed on this business model, actually by accident, and it was one of the clients that I was working with, and basically did a couple of videos and blew them up online, blew up their personal brand. So I now run a personal branding agency. It's two agencies, actually, sister agencies, one based in Dubai, and we operate mainly in Dubai, so the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, and one based in the US. And the proof is in the pudding. So, you know, the best proof of this is Stripe. I can show you, I don't know if you guys can see this, but just last week, we did 23.3K, I believe. Let me see. Yep, 23.1K. Okay. Today, the revenue for today is 5,500. Let me see that. I think you guys can see this. Yeah, gross value for yesterday. 5,000. Okay. And yeah, this all comes from the personal branding agency model. Now, why do I not gatekeep any of this? I actually just started making videos about this business model recently because I've scaled it to a point where the operations have become automated, and I'm able to put myself in a more, leveraged position where I can monitor what's actually going on with the agency without getting too involved in the day-to-day activities. And I don't gatekeep any of this because it's a blue ocean right now. Whoever steps in, regardless of whatever market you're in, if you're in the US, if you're in Argentina, well, maybe not with their GDP right now, but if you're somewhere in Europe, if you're somewhere in Saudi, whatever it is, it's a blue ocean. Everyone and their mother wants to be an influencer or have a personal brand, but no one knows how to do it. Now, in terms of resources, I'm gonna launch a Discord in the future. So come back to this video or future videos in the description. There'll be probably a Discord community, but because it's gonna be an opportunity that you don't wanna miss. No one is doing it online. Now, my only ask is that if this brings you value, like it, comment something below, and subscribe for more value, because I'm going to be dumping everything that I've been doing in terms of the operations, everything, sales, marketing, operations, scalability, how to close, how to get these clients, where do you even find them. But for now, we'll get started with how do I get CEOs to throw $5,000 at me every single month. Now, what do? I run a personal branding agency. So to give you kind of an idea, rather than working with a client to grow their business, for example, you're working, with a real estate entrepreneur or real estate agent to grow their real estate business, okay, and bring leads to that business, you work with the agent or with the real estate entrepreneur themselves to grow their own personal brand, because these leads are coming to that person at the end of the day. They're not going to come and deal with the business. They're going to deal with the agent, right? So rather than working to grow a business's account or a business's social profile or get the business leads, you work with the person directly. So you're growing their own personal brand, which is ultimately going to be a funnel for leads, but it's much more personal. It's way higher converting because they're actually dealing with a person. So rather than actually working on growing the business, you're growing the client's personal brand. Whether it's a doctor, if it's a neurosurgeon, or if it's a real estate agent, if it's a SaaS founder, whatever it is, this domain works across any industry, across any niche. So we work with them to grow their personal brand, and this is done by doing short form content, so reels, TikToks, YouTube shorts, and long form content as well. That's going to be higher converting. Now, why do you not need to be a good videographer or a good content person for this to work? I'll give you an idea. I'm horrible as a cameraman. I'm really not good. I actually have a team to take care of it right now, but even getting started, I wasn't amazing. I wasn't good at all, and even up to now, there's a lot of skills that I lack. It's not about being a good videographer. It's about being a good people's person. This is the whole game. If you've been in the agency space and you transition to this, you will skyrocket in success. Now, I've mentored a handful of people for this agency, for this personal branding agency model, and I've seen that the fastest people to scale are not the photographers or the videographers or people who have been in kind of like that creative space. It's the entrepreneurs. It's the ones who understand people, understand, kind of had a bit of a go at running an agency, or are solely focused on scaling the business. They're not just videographers or photographers who are transitioning into something, because this is not a videography game, it's a people's game. And when you appeal to people's true desires, this is where essentially you're closing big deals. Because why would someone even want a personal brand as a CEO? Is it just so that they have more followers? No. There's a couple different reasons. They want more leads, of course, number one, but they want more status. They want to be perceived as higher value in their own industry. They want to be looked up to by their peers. Because someone who's a neurosurgeon, he's probably going to have other friends who are, also medical professionals and stuff. These types of videos, when you grow their personal brand and you take someone from 0 to 12, 20, 50, 100K followers, it absolutely skyrockets their authority, their self-confidence, their perceived value, or their perceived trust within the market or around their peers. It's absolutely a status game as well. So, and the people have, when you're dealing with CEOs and business owners, they can afford these prices. Now, I didn't start out high ticket. My journey wasn't like this. I always love to offer free work, because this is what builds trust. Offering a free video. I used to walk into people's offices, walk into people's shops, or walk into their head office or headquarters and have a conversation with them and offer a free video. From then on, we transitioned into signing on 3-month retainers, and that's very, very good for cash flow, because in the end of the day, the agency is a cash flow model. Once you're set with that, once you are actually bringing in cash flow, you can expect more cash flow to come in into the future, because you've signed on multiple retainers. It's time to invest in some editors. You want to make sure that you have editors who can handle the fulfillment for you, so that you can gain back your time. So that you can gain back your time and your leverage to make sure you put it into more ROI activities, like going out and getting more clients, like hiring, managing people, managing systems, managing your project management. Okay? At that point, this is when you start increasing your prices. You can charge more. We have clients that we charge 10K because we take care of more of these things. We have clients that we charge 15K. And we take a completely different strategy, where it's more of explosive growth on these social media platforms. But because they have a directly attributable ROI to our content. And that's why we can justify these prices. Once you have these increase in prices, you can hire out your team, you can build out the SOPs, you manage your team on Slack and Notion as well. Like, again, I'll show you guys my Slack. I don't know if I have on this laptop, I have my Slack for the Middle East region. So this is where we're operating in Dubai. I have another one for the US as well. But we split up in terms of clients. Each client gets their own channel with their own editor. And basically, this is where we get a lot of the work done in terms of, how does the content get delivered on time? This is another thing. So we want to make sure that there's always content that is being delivered on time, so that you can grow the account. Now, I'll give you an idea. Like, if we go to this guy, go in here, we have an editor workflow where every editor, must go through this workflow, so that we can make sure, we can track the content accordingly. There's a clip review process. There's spell check responsibility, video review. If you're doing all of this, no way, you're not going to get time to sleep. You need to make sure you have these systems. You want to have a video review process. You want to organize the content for payment cycles. You want to organize the content a very specific way on Google Drive so that everything is, accounted for accordingly. Your editors get paid on time. You have a way to track all your expenses, and you are just managing. You start to remove yourself from the actual business, and you start to automate it. Okay? So, for example, as well, we have onboarding workflows for our client. We have this checklist that editors would essentially check off once they have finished some client work or they finish the video. They check them off so that we can track it, and our social media managers can come back and track it as well and make sure that things are being posted accordingly. So this is for Notion. And from then on, once you've automated all of the fulfillment, this is when the fun part comes to play. Hiring out the videographers. So right now, I have 4 videographers with me. I don't do any of the videography myself. I'm not a good videographer, and I never was, but I'm a good director. This is why I go back to saying, if you are a good people's person, or if you learn how to be a good people's person, you will crush this game. And it's a blue ocean. It is a blue ocean. Okay? So I show up to the shoots. I fly out with my team. We fly out to Dubai, back to Qatar, sometimes to the US, and I just direct. We have our videographers, and we just direct and grow personal brands. This is when everything becomes automated, and the only thing you have to do is have a good client relationship. Go grab coffees with them, sit down with them, because it's fun. It becomes a fun thing to do. Everything else is automated. The only thing that you got to do is make a couple of friends with some CEOs, entrepreneurs, and from then on, you'll be surprised how many deals or how much business comes to you just from having these relationships. I've made investments in $1 million companies just from being close friends with CEOs and entrepreneurs. Now we move on to the fun part. Where do we find these clients? I use a specific strategy called the casino approach. And I'll touch up on this in another video, but it's an approach where it's a baller approach where you are pumping out your message to a lot of people, and then you're basically like a sniper. You're choosing which one has the highest likelihood of signing on, and you go directly to that person. And I'll probably do it in another video. Let me know if this is something that is interesting to you. If you guys would find that valuable, let me know. I'll definitely do it in another video, but comment below. Now, how do we pitch and close? Again, goes back to what I was saying earlier on, is that when you're on the call or when you're in front of that person, if you're in the meeting, you want to always pitch the future state. Mr. Prospect, why are you even wanting to build a personal brand? Okay, I want this and this and this and this and this and this. And then you relate it back to their real desire. What's their desire? Of being perceived higher in the market, as higher status, have their peers look up to them, have them be seen as an authority in their market, have more leads flock to them, rather than they go to the leads. So rather than chasing leads, you'll have leads who are already hot, warmed, and have seen your content and want to work with you. They'll come directly to you. This is how you pitch the future state and the end result. And I always say this, if you're in person, if you came off a couple of Iman Gaji YouTube videos and he's telling you that, make 10K per month with an online agency, you're going to struggle. In-person relationships, especially after COVID, especially when everyone right now very few people like this work from home environment. People want to go out and excuse my French, do shit, Being in person trumps everything. The relationship you build with this person, and at the end of the day, we're physical creatures, okay? You can say whatever you want about running an online agency and how you want to live the laptop lifestyle. What I do, I have a lot of clients and I choose to do their content in the first part of the month. And then for another 20 days, I'm free to do whatever I want. I can go live that laptop lifestyle. I can travel the world. I can do whatever I want, and fulfillment is happening on the back end. But we already got the content in the beginning. So being in person, the relationship you build with a client trumps everything. And this is why I travel with a lean team of killers. So one day we're in this country, next day we're in Qatar, next day we're in Dubai. Sometimes we're flying out to Saudi for a few promotions with specific types of clients. And you just build a lean team of killers. So bonus tips and hacks. We set up the SOPs on Notion. So we have ways to manage every single project for every single client for every single month that they're in. Okay? Now I can create a video on Notion project management in the future, but let me know if that would be worth it to you. But your number one priority should be to get as many meetings as possible. As many meetings as you can. Meet with so many people. Talk to them. Make sure that they're someone that's worthy of building a personal brand in the first place, and then make sure they actually want to build a personal brand, and make sure that you can have as many of these meetings as possible, because that is how you're going to get in contact with these people and then start growing their personal brand. So if you are a CEO, founder, or a business owner and you want to grow your personal brand, you can hit me up, DM me on Instagram, and we'll get you sorted. We've blown up multiple people on Instagram, and we can blow you up as well. And if you are a beginner entrepreneur, even a freelancer, videographer, photographer, and you want to grow a personal branding agency, this is the most unsaturated business model, mark my word, of 2024 and 2025. And if you want to scale to $10,000, $20,000 in the next 90 days, then you can DM me on Instagram at Kareem Mansour, and we can get you sorted.